I've never seen anything like this before in all my years with the FBI. It's overwhelming. He is truly a master of his craft. That is a quote from an agent who worked for the FBI Profiler Unit. It describes Carl Gugasian, probably the most successful bank robber in US history. Over the course of 3 decades, Carl Gugasian robbed more than 50 banks across the east coast of America. His successful robberies were estimated to have netted him around $2 million total over his surprisingly long criminal career. He was dubbed the Friday Night Bank Robber. Authorities knew immediately when the Friday Night Bank Robber had hit a bank. He arrived wearing baggy clothing and would wear a Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger mask or ski mask. His calm demeanour and athleticism was evident to both bank staff and the authorities. He would leap onto the bank counter, demanding money, and would be in and out of the bank at astounding speed within a couple of minutes. He didn't want to hang about. The banks that he targeted all had a similar background. They were near to Woodland. He went in just before closing time during the autumn-winter months when darkness is descending earlier. This provided ideal cover, which he made the most out of. He would use multiple means of transport to get to and from the scene. This included bikes for woodland paths. He travelled extensively on highways, making his movements impossible to trace. He was truly a successful bank robber. Let's get into some background on Carl Gugasian. He was born in Pennsylvania on October 12, 1947 to an immigrant family from Armenia. A major turning point in his criminal career was triggered when he was shot whilst robbing a candy store at age 15. He served 18 months for this in a youth facility. He was convinced that he wouldn't be able to go legit as a result. A charge like this would tarnish his adult record. This was a false belief on his part. Despite this seemingly major setback, Gugasian studied for a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and later joined the army in 1971. Stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the army taught him many of the skills that he would perfect and utilise during his robberies. These included maintaining fitness and weapons training. After the army, Gugasian proceeded to get a master's degree in systems analysis, then a doctorate in statistics and probability, highly beneficial when planning and executing armed bank robberies. His quiet suburban life didn't bring in attention. Self-employed as a consultant and pro-gambler, he masked his earnings origins and paid taxes using the bank robbery earnings. He was heavily into fitness, becoming a black belt in karate, and he was consistent in strength and endurance training. He planned robberies in excruciating detail, using a public library to study maps, look at the odds, and then, when the time came, use pinpoint precision to achieve his goal. This was to secure the most amount of money in the fastest amount of time. As mentioned earlier, 3 decades is an insane amount of time to avoid apprehension. Most bank robbers fit a specific mould, but Gugasian flipped the stereotype upside down. He was well educated, methodical, and completely abnormal to the vast majority of robbers. Despite luck being on his side for many years, it finally ran out. The discovery of documents and a whole cache of self-incriminating evidence was discovered in drainage pipes by 2 boys in the woods in Pennsylvania. State police were alerted, and it became clear that it was a major situation. An FBI criminal profiler who had been made aware of the Friday Night Bank Robber was put on the case and immediately saw similarities. The methodical nature of the individual and the connections quickly led him to Carl Gugasian. Fingerprints found on documents tied him to the banks, along with a gun serial number stolen from Fort Bragg in the 1970s. Also, maps found were traced back to the library in which Gugasian frequently visited. He was apprehended in 2002, initially not speaking out about the crimes that he was charged with. In court, he showed remorse for his actions. He stated, "I've always rationalised my conduct by believing that robbing banks had no victims. Upon hearing bank staff testimony, he said, "I don't think that now." He decided to help investigators as he was facing the possibility of a 115-year sentence. He accepted a plea and received 17 years total. He became an FBI consultant whilst incarcerated, sharing valuable information with the FBI on bank robberies. He served 15 years and was released on good behaviour in May 2017. That has been the story of the Friday night bank robber. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for weekly content. I appreciate your viewership.